Welcome back to Reds Fusion LFC, your ultimate home for all the latest Liverpool buzz. Today we've got massive news. Isak is set for a huge role as he eyes his Champions League debut. Salah gets exactly what he wished for, but heartbreak strikes with a crushing injury blow for Trent Alexander-Arnold. Plus, is a legendary return on the horizon? Gerrard could be back, and it's a no-brainer. Let's dive in, Reds. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay updated with every twist and turn in the transfer window. Liverpool lineups for Atletico Madrid as Isak starts and Milos Kerkez dropped. Liverpool begin their Champions League campaign against Atletico Madrid at Anfield on Wednesday night, and our writers have selected their starting lineups. Liverpool's first Anfield European night of a new season is always a special one. And in Atletico Madrid, the Reds have been provided with fitting opponents for the occasion. The Spanish Giants head to Merseyside to open their Champions League campaign with a standout fixture, and one that they aren't likely to be looking forward to after the Reds began their campaign with 4 successive Premier League victories. Late goals were needed in all of those games, though, and so will Arne Slot be tempted to shuffle his pack on Wednesday night. Especially with Saturday's Anfield derby on the horizon, we asked our team just what they think Slot's selection could be. Paul Gorstarna. Slot has been coy when quizzed, but the Liverpool boss has at least confirmed Isak will play some part this evening, and while the Sweden international has only played 18 minutes since May, having gone on strike to force his 125-minute Anfield move, I'm tempted to give him the nod from the start against Atletico Madrid tonight. He is going to have built up his fitness somewhere, so why not start tonight, under the Anfield lights? It might be a bit harsh to move Hugo Ekitike to the bench, but it's a long old campaign, and keeping both big-money frontmen fresh will be integral. Ekitike can have half an hour, all being well. There are also changes for me in the fullback areas. Jeremy Frimpong and Andy Robertson come in for Dominik Szoboszlai and Milos Kerkez, respectively. With the Hungary captain moving into midfield, Alexis McAllister is the player who drops out to accommodate Szoboszlai. The Argentina World Cup winner took a whack to the ankle at Burnley and was already having his minutes managed, so he can drop out and wait in the wings if needed. Ryan Gravenberch starts alongside Szoboszlai. My team: Alisson, Frimpong, Konate, Van Dijk, Robertson, Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, Salah, Wirtz, Gakpo, Isak, Ian Doyle, the Champions League. There's nothing quite like it under the lights at Anfield. And there's no visiting manager who can rile a home crowd quite like Diego Simeone of Atletico Madrid. It's going to be a big old scrap. What then is Liverpool boss Arne Slot to do? There should be changes, but not in goal. That's Alisson Becker. And both Ibrahima Konate and Virgil van Dijk should continue at center-back. Fullback, though, is where rotation should take place, with Andy Robertson in at left-back and Connor Bradley the right-back. That will allow Dominik Szoboszlai to move into midfield alongside Ryan Gravenberch in the double pivot, with Florian Wirtz the number 10. And up top, Mohamed Salah is on the right with Cody Gakpo on the left and, yes, Alexander Isak playing down the middle. For the first half, anyway, my team: Alisson, Bradley, Konate, Van Dijk, Robertson, Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, Salah, Wirtz, Gakpo, Isak. Alexander Isak sent huge Liverpool warning before potential Champions League debut. Alexander Isak could make his Liverpool debut against Atletico Madrid in the Champions League, with Arne Slot confirming yesterday he could play as much as 45 minutes. Liverpool striker Alexander Isak has been warned that he will have to reinvent himself following his British record transfer to Anfield, because opposition teams will be set up to stop him. After going on strike, Isak forced through a $169 million, $125 million switch from Newcastle this summer, with Liverpool confirming his arrival on transfer deadline day. Since then, Isak has been getting himself up to speed, and he could play as much as 45 minutes against Atletico Madrid later today in the Champions League. But the former Chelsea winger Florin Malouda says that Isak is about to face a different challenge after moving to Liverpool. In addition to playing more games, he will also have to get used to opponents having specific tactical plans focused around him. Will the fee for Isak impact him? I don't think the transfer fee is an issue, especially for this new generation of players. They are used to these fees, Malouda told Boyle Sports. It's not extraordinary. They know there's an expectation. I think for him it's more like going from Newcastle to Liverpool, a team that is used to Champions League football. Now you have to play in the Premier League at your best. And 3 days later you need to play in the Champions League, and then you need to play with your national team. So it's a different rhythm of games that you need to digest. For all these elements, you rely on your fitness, your energy, your discipline, and your talent on the pitch. Like we say, visible training, invisible training. All this balance. You need to be at 150%. If you are below this, then the competition is huge. The opposition is also huge because every team playing against Liverpool will try to stop him. He's a main threat, so you have to reinvent and adapt yourself. Isak has only previously played 6 games in the Champions League, 5 for Newcastle and 1 for Borussia Dortmund as a teenager. But he could feature for Liverpool against Atletico Madrid. There is definitely a chance because he's in the squad and the chance to play. I would usually say 99.9% sure. But I can say 100% sure he will not play 90 minutes. But he's part of the squad, Arne Slot said on Tuesday. It's already a Champions League game to look forward to. But if people look forward to his playing time, that could mean that could happen tomorrow as well. The only thing we're sure of is he will not play 90. I saw what Alexander Isak did in Liverpool training as Mohamed Salah gets his wish Theo. Squires was in attendance at the AXA training center for Liverpool's open training session ahead of their Champions League opener against Atletico Madrid as Alexander Isak closes in on making his Reds debut. Liverpool supporters were understandably disappointed when Alexander Isak was left out of the matchday squad to face Burnley last Sunday. But Arne Slot had a plan. It has been a disjointed summer for the Swede, who was essentially on strike at Newcastle United, before belatedly being granted a club record, a 125-meter move to Anfield on transfer deadline day. Prior to an 18-minute substitute appearance for Sweden during the international break, he had not made an appearance of any kind since the last day of last season back in May. He skipped Newcastle's preseason tour of the Far East and trained alone, away from Eddie Howe's first-team squad, following their return to Tyneside. Consequently, it was always going to take time for him to get back up to speed following his move to Liverpool, with the Reds wisely opting to manage him carefully as a result. That is why the striker was absent at Turf Moor. But it also leaves him in a stronger position to make his Liverpool debut against Atletico Madrid on Wednesday night. Alex is far from ready for that. Schedule of 3 games in a week. 90 minutes, Slot explained after his side's victory over Burnley. But then we could use him today for 5 minutes, and then Wednesday again 10, and then 15, but we don't believe that is the way to build him up. We believe it's the way Sweden did the right thing of giving him good sessions without playing him a lot, because if you play the player, you cannot give him good sessions. They did the right thing, and we did the same. So now he will be able either Wednesday or Saturday to play 45 as a minimum, and maybe a little bit more. But if he plays 45 on Wednesday, don't expect him to play 45 or more on Saturday because his body is not prepared for that. In our opinion, time will tell if those 45 minutes minimum are forthcoming for Isak against Atletico Madrid. But the Echo were in attendance as he took the latest steps towards making both his club-playing return and Liverpool debut at the AXA training center on Tuesday. Having trained alone for the majority of the past 2 months, the Swede was in good spirits alongside his new teammates as he took part in the Reds' open training session ahead of their Champions League opener. He is clearly enjoying being back in team training too, as he was spotted joking around with both Mohamed Salah and Alexis Mac Allister, who took part after overcoming the ankle injury that forced him off against Burnley as Slot's players were put through their paces. Trent Alexander-Arnold dealt crushing injury blow with Liverpool reunion, a major doubt. Trent Alexander-Arnold limped out after less than 5 minutes of his debut for Real Madrid in the Champions League, with the La Liga giants later confirming his injury. Trent Alexander-Arnold is set to miss up to 2 months in another blow in a disastrous start to his Real Madrid career. Alexander-Arnold, 26, has suffered a hamstring injury which puts a major doubt over him being fit to make an emotional return to Anfield when Real Madrid faced Liverpool in the Champions League on November 4th. The Real Madrid star also looks set to miss the first El Clasico of the season as they face Barcelona on the weekend of October 26 and also the next England camp, which is a further blow to his World Cup hopes. Alexander-Arnold limped off inside 5 minutes of Real Madrid's Champions League clash with Marseille on Tuesday night after pulling up hurt. The England defender said on social media, "We'll be back as soon as possible, stronger than before. See you soon, Madridistas." It has been a tough start to Alexander-Arnold's Madrid career, as he has started just 2 games in La Liga and has shared duties with Dani Carvajal. Carvajal replaced Alexander-Arnold against Marseille, but was later sent off as Real Madrid came from 1-0 down to win 2-1. Real Madrid said in a statement, "Following tests carried out today by the Real Madrid Medical Services on our player, Trent Alexander-Arnold, he has been diagnosed with a muscle injury to the biceps femoris in his left leg. Further updates will follow." Real Madrid will hope that Alexander-Arnold's strong physical condition will help him make a quicker return than 2 months. They hope he could return closer to 6 weeks but will be reluctant to take risks. But Alexander-Arnold did not have a typical summer as he played for Real Madrid in the Club World Cup and, like many players in the tournament, have struggled with muscle injuries in the opening weeks of the season. Chelsea striker Liam Delap is another player from the tournament to suffer a muscle injury, and it has been a tough baptism for Alexander-Arnold at the Bernabeu. England boss Thomas Tuchel left him out of the last squad to face Andorra and Serbia and said he is now behind the likes of Reece James and Tino Livramento in the pecking order. Alexander-Arnold must rediscover his form and fitness to regain his England place in time to nail down his place at next summer's World Cup. Steven Gerrard decision is no-brainer. As Liverpool icon tipped to make return, Russell Martin is under increasing pressure at Rangers. With the club yet to win a Scottish Premiership game this season, and Steven Gerrard has been tipped to return. Liverpool legend Steven Gerrard could potentially be in line for a fairy tale comeback to Rangers as the heat intensifies on Russell Martin, the Scottish club's current manager. The former Swansea and Southampton manager was brought in by Rangers during the summer. However, he has suffered a dreadful start to life at Ibrox. Rangers remain without victory in 5 Scottish Premiership games, leaving the team languishing in 10th place and already trailing title rival Celtic by 9 points. The Rangers faithful seem to have already lost patience with Martin. While the club's chiefs appear to be backing the 39-year-old for the time being, this stance could easily shift if their dismal run of results persists. Should he be fired in the near future, Liverpool icon Gerrard could well surface as a leading contender to take his place. Gerrard enjoyed a magnificent initial stint north of the border, guiding Rangers to Scottish Premiership glory in 2021. He was lured back to the Premier League by Aston Villa mere months afterwards, while the former midfielder also experienced a period in Saudi Arabia with Atletico. Gerrard departed the club in January this year and has remained unemployed since. He was heavily tipped for a Rangers return during the summer but chose to pull out of the running after opting to remain with his family in the Middle East. In a conversation with former Liverpool teammate Peter Crouch last March, Gerrard expressed his relief at being out of the limelight. He stated, "I don't want to be back in work, mate, no. I'm happy with waking up and being free, doing the family stuff, just being free away from stress. I will go in at some point, but when it's round the clocks, I'm doing it 18, 19 months. I want to be free. I want to play a round of golf, go down the boozer and have a couple of beers, do normal things that you can't do when you're coaching." Whether Gerrard's position on returning to management changes if the Rangers' job becomes available is yet to be seen. However, one person eager to see him back at the helm is his former player Greg Stewart. Stewart was instrumental in helping Rangers secure the title during Gerrard's previous tenure in Scotland. Speaking recently, he said, "Bringing Steven back is an absolute no-brainer for me. 100% go get him. I'm ready to phone him myself. There's one thing you'll see again with the Steven Gerrard team. It's a style that makes us hard to beat and which allows us to score goals. Right now, it looks like there's no alignment at the club, from the players to the staff and from the dressing room up to board. It's so hard to watch. I watch all the games and it just ruins my weekend. That's how I still feel about it."